From Farmers Branch City Hall, this is the Council Recap here on FBTV. Hello again, everyone. I'm Jeff Brady, and we're reviewing the City Council meeting held Tuesday, November 15th here at City Hall. Incidentally, our only City Council meeting for the month of November. So we have a concise summary of the agenda, and during the next few minutes, hopefully we can offer just a little more context on the items that were discussed and the votes taken. During the executive session, there were various items discussed that included a discussion and review of the Code of Ethics complaints against former Mayor Robert Dye, a discussion regarding an appointment to the position of mayor to fill the unexpired term until May of next year, and the appointment and contract of duties for our new city manager. Now, to begin the regular session, the City Council first considered a motion to appoint Assistant City Manager Ben Williamson as the new city manager, effective Friday, December 2nd. The motion was seconded and passed unanimously 5-0. And immediately after that, a second motion was made to invoke an investigation of several ethics complaints against former Mayor Robert Dye and to grant an extension of 20 days to allow an independent investigative attorney to provide an objective report on that investigation at the December 13th regular City Council meeting. That motion also was seconded and passed unanimously 4-0. Councilman Jackson filed the ethics complaint and he was prohibited from voting. So now for the consent agenda items that were up for approval during the meeting. Consent item I-1 was to consider approving the minutes of the regular City Council meetings held on October 11th and 25th, and minutes for the special called meetings held on October 20th and November 1st. Consent item I-2 was to consider appointments to the Farmers Branch Local Government Corporation Board of Directors and the Sustainability Committee. Consent item I-3 was to consider approving the renaming of the former hockey rink converted into a turf area to Orrin Good Turf. Agenda item I-4 was to consider removing garage sale regulations from the sales code and sign code and creating new garage sales regulations, including a registration requirement in the business code. Consent item I-5 was to consider awarding the purchase for traffic signal cabinets to Paradigm Traffic Systems through the Local Government Purchasing Cooperative. Agenda item I-6 was to consider approving a contract with Groves Electrical Services to provide athletic field lights at the southwest field at Orrin Good Park. Agenda item I-7 was to consider awarding the water meter box unit price purchase to APSCO Supply. And consent item I-8 was to consider awarding the water meter encoder unit price purchase to Republic Meter Incorporated. Agenda item I-9 was to consider authorizing the interim city manager to approve the purchase of 7 replacement HVAC units for $149,714 from Train US. And agenda item I-10 was to consider authorizing the purchase of uniforms and related equipment for the Farmers Branch Police from Galls LLC in excess of $50,000. And agenda item I-11 was to consider authorizing the execution of a residential demolition rebuild program incentive agreement for the owner of property located at 13430 Castleton Drive. And then finally, agenda item I-12 was to consider approving the assignment of 3940 Spring Valley Road from TCCI Land Company to COG Dallas Homes Incorporated. And City Council approved all consent items unanimously by a vote of 5-0. So, moving on to the public hearing and regular agenda items. Agenda item J1 was to adopt changes to the Farmers Branch Youth Program Standard of Care in compliance with the state's Texas Human Resource Code. And City Council approved this item unanimously by a vote of 5-0. Agenda item K1 was to receive a recommendation from the Redistricting Commission, once again, regarding proposed redistricting maps 7, 8, and 9, and to adopt the approved redistricting map in accordance with the city charter. So, once again, after a lengthy presentation by the Redistricting Committee Chair, Bronson Blackson, and more debate by the Council and more questions, Mayor Pro Tem David Merritt made a motion to accept map number 7, and it passed by a vote of 3-2. Now, afterwards, after this presentation, I spoke to Committee Chairman Bronson Blackson.
So map 7 was the map that the council selected tonight. It was a split vote, 3-2, in favor of map 7. And if you weren't here, you hadn't watched the process, one thing I wanted to make sure is that the process was transparent from the beginning to the end, that all the meetings were available for us to watch, you could attend, and that there wasn't a map that this one rose to the top because it was the one that the group organically made on their own. They came from far different areas, different reaches. They all had different views, they had different opinions, but they came together, and in the beginning they unanimously picked map 7 to be the primary recommendation.
And there's no way you're going to please everybody.
You're exactly right. No matter what map we chose, there were going to be people that are going to be upset. You know, there are going to be communities that were split, or there were areas that were going to be divided, and that was the byproduct of any map that we would have selected.
Agenda item K2 was to consider appointing a qualified candidate to fill the position of mayor for the unexpired term ending May of 2023, next year, or to consider calling a special election for January 21st, 2023 for the purpose of electing a person to fill that vacancy. Mayor Pro Tem Merritt proposed a motion to appoint former Mayor Bill Glancy to the office of mayor to fulfill the unexpired term of former Mayor Robert Dye. Mayor Glancy would be in office until May, when the new mayor will be elected. The motion was seconded and passed unanimously. And I spoke to Mayor Pro Tem Merritt following the meeting about this proposal to bring Mayor Glancy back to the mayor's office for a short period of time.
Tonight we had the opportunity to fill the vacant mayor's position. We had the opportunity to discuss this in executive session. We ended up appointing former Mayor Bill Glancy to fill the role for the next several months until we get to the May election. And I want to say that it was a unanimous vote amongst the council as we moved forward, and we tried to address the issues of the city and make sure that all the positive things that are going on in our city are going to continue to be positive, and we'll address the operations of the city. We're looking forward to that opportunity to work with Mr. Glancy. He'll be installed in December, the next meeting in December 13th. We look forward to working with him.
And that'll do it for this council recap. As a reminder, every regular meeting of the Farmers Branch City Council can be seen live here on FBTV. That is Spectrum Channel 16 in Farmers Branch, AT&T UVerse Channel 99 throughout the Metroplex, or you can always watch it online at farmersbranchtx.gov. This meeting was also streamed live on Vimeo and on our YouTube channel. That's FBTX 16. Now, this particular program, the Council Recap, will be made available every day at approximately 10 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. here on FBTV. The full City Council meeting will also be available for viewing 7 days a week at 6 p.m. here. In the meantime, the next regular meeting of the City Council, and the only meeting for the month of December, will be held December 13th, 2022, starting at 6 p.m. as always here at Farmers Branch City Hall. Now, please be reminded that all meetings are subject to change, so check the city's website for updates, or you can always call us at City Hall at 972-247-3131 for more information. Until that time, I'm Jeff Brady, and you are watching continuing coverage of the Farmers Branch City Council on FBTV. Please stay here.